riding buddies. This week my video is going to get all controversial on you, and I want to do my top 10 best looking motocross bikes. I'm not going to be era specific or anything like that. It's just what I think are the top 10 best looking motocross bikes. This is already called controversy in my own house. The wife won't talk to me now. She's got her list. She reckons my list is wrong, but that's her view. This is my video, so we're going to do what I want to do. Couple of criteria for the video. A, must be a motocross bike. Bit of a no-brainer there. B, they've got to be production bikes. So unfortunately, works bikes aren't allowed in the list. Also two, they've got to be made as they were made. So bikes as they were made and landed on the dealership floor. So this also eliminates any team bikes. But with the team bike, that doesn't matter anyway, because we all know that the Yamaha, Marlboro Yamahas from the mid-80s were the best looking team bikes, bar none, in any era. So that's a bit of a no-brainer anyway, but unfortunately they don't come into this video because they were a team bike. Also too, my Push MC250 doesn't make the cut. Yes, it was a beautiful bike, but I think there's better looking bikes than what it was. So what we'll do, we'll have a look at what I think is the top 10 best looking motocross bikes, and we'll see what everyone thinks.
Let's just dive straight into the world of controversy here and go to the 1981 CR450R. This is my number 10 bike. It was one of the worst motocross bikes ever built by Honda. The front number plate caused so much controversy. But geez, it's a pretty bike. You stand back and look at it, and as far as I'm concerned, it is just a really pretty bike. A friend of mine has got one and he offered to let me race it, but I'm not sure if I'd be game to race one, as the gearboxes probably would break on it. And with all its downfalls and everything else about it, damn, I'd love to own one. They are just such a pretty bike. All the 1981 CRs I consider to be really nice looking motocross bikes. You can go back through my library and there is the 81 CR125, which Ding did an evaluation on. But the 450 in the open class with that big air-cooled red engine jumping out at you, it was just a sight to behold as far as I'm concerned. So that's my number 10 spot. So my number 9 pick is the 1987 YZ250. This was an absolutely amazing looking bike as far as I was concerned. But also too, this was the era of the Marlboro Yamahas in Australia as well. And we all know how good they looked. But the YZ250, there was just something about those gold rims, the first of the white frames, the outline around the number plates. It was just a really nice looking bike. The S model, the model before, I actually had one of those many, many years ago. It was quite a nice looking bike as well, but I reckon when they went to the T model with the white frame, the script writing for motocross on the swing arm, just everything about this bike I reckon looked really, really nice. So coming in on number 8 on my list is the 1986 Suzuki RM250. I will admit, in 1986, pretty much every Japanese motocross bike, every motocross bike looked really good in 1986. But the Suzuki with that blue engine, everything about it just really looked nice. There was something about the 86 Suzukis, especially the 250, that really set them apart and really made them look good. Okay, so for my number 7 pick, I'm going to go all modern on most of you guys. The TM Racing MX300 from 2019. This thing from Italy, of course it's going to be sexy, no doubt about it. But the 2019 model was just a really different bike. They just changed things a little bit more with the colouring. There was a little bit more white on them. The radiator shrouds with a little bit of different moulding to them just really made them stand out. So for my number 6 position, I'm going to go with 2 particular years here. The 81 and 82 Husky CR430. The CR430 of 81 and 82, I really like the fuel tank, the way the tank is a lot higher than the earlier models. Especially when these came in black. The gold rims and the gold forks with the black fuel tank was just drop dead gorgeous. And that massive big 430 air-cooled engine in there just really filled everything up, and it was just such a really good looking bike. So my number 5 pick is the 1986 KTM 250 MX. Probably one of the major reasons I picked this bike, I've got one sitting in the shed in various states of disrepair. So I really did take a liking to this particular model. In all the 86 KTMs, even right down to the 80, it was a really nice looking bike. Of course, 1986 was the first year of the rear disc brake for KTM, and the 250 was the start of the digital ignition era for them as well. For position number 4, we're going to venture to the good old US of A with the ATK 406, specifically from 1992. Of course, ATK were very renowned for their, let's say, weird rear brake setup and their crazy chain design. But with that big Rotax 406 engine, this is one stunner, that is for sure. So for my number 3 spot, I'm going to go forward in time to 2021 with the Fantic Xx125. I know deep down it is only a Yamaha YZ125, but Fantic in Italy has done enough changes to make it their own, I feel anyway. It is an absolutely drop-dead gorgeous bike. I'm pretty sure we're not going to see any of these in Australia, and from what I have read, you're not going to see any in the US as well, which is going to be a real shame. But they have done a lot of other changes to make it very different to a YZ125. So for my number 2 position, it seems to be that reoccurring theme for 1986, the Kawasaki WMX125. This thing was absolutely amazing bike and a beautiful piece of art as well. Typical Italians, they never leave anything to chance with the way bikes look. Of course, they won the World Championships in 1985 and then they released this 1986 125, and it was an absolutely wicked bit of gear. I actually, back in the day, I did have a friend of mine who had one of these, and I used to try and catch it, and it was very hard to catch. But just everything about this bike, with the Mazzocchi forks and everything about it, was just so well done. And it helped that it was an absolute screamer as well. So coming in with the number 1 position for my pick of the best looking motocross bikes is the Va125 Montesa. I will admit pretty much all the Montesas in the motocross bikes in the 70s look really, really good. But the Va125 I consider to be exceptional. I did have a mate who had one many years ago, and this thing was so pretty. It was also one of the most unreliable bikes I've ever seen. 10 minutes of running and all of a sudden the conrod would just blow itself to pieces. But hey, that's not what this evaluation is all about. This is about how good they actually looked. So even though it was one of the most unreliable bikes I've ever seen, it is still one of the prettiest bikes I've ever come across. So after about 6 cans of Jim Beam and so many indecisive decisions, that's my list. Let me know what you think. Everyone else is going to have their own view. See if you agree with any of my decisions of the top 10 there, and let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope there's been something there you have liked. Make sure you subscribe to the channel to keep up to date. You can go back through my library and check out my other videos. There's a lot of other stuff there as well. And we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.